Good morning to all of you. Today we are going to see one new concept of our first unit, that is the basic concept which is related to ER model. So yes, we have already seen what are entities and attributes. We will see the definition. Here an entity is nothing but a real world object which can be easily identifiable. For example, if you have a college database, then your college is one entity. Under college we have staff, faculty, departments. Okay, under department we have laboratory, we have subjects. Then all the entity which you can identify easily, it is known as a entity. Now next is what are attributes. So the properties of your entities are referred as attributes. Now attributes for example, you have a student entity. Under student, what can be the values which are related to student, like name of the student, roll number, phone number, email ID, all which are the characteristics of a student, it is known as a attribute. Next, there are different types of entities. The first one, we can say it is a strong entity, which is a strong entity. We can refer it as a primary key. So here there are two types of entities, strong and weak. And weak entities are those which are dependent on your strong entity. So a strong entity is generally, it is represented by a complete rectangle. Then there is a weak entity. A weak entity, we cannot use a weak entity as a primary key because it is dependent upon another entity. Yes, we can say it is a child entity. Here, a weak entity is represented by a double rectangle. Strong entity by single rectangle and weak entity by double rectangle. Now see, this is the simple ER diagram where there are two entities, customer and loan. A customer is a strong entity and loan is weak entity which is dependent upon customer. Here borrow is a relationship. Then there are two attributes, CID and CNAME, which is related to your customer entity, and here LNAME and LDate, which relates to your weak entity. So this is how you can represent strong and weak entity. Now next comes the different types of attribute. Now first one is your simple attribute. A simple attribute are known as atomic values. So simple attributes are atomic value. Atomic means we cannot further divide it. Okay, for example, you have a phone number. Yes, there is a 10-digit phone number. You cannot further divide it. So this attribute is known as a simple attribute. Yes, there is another example is a first name, you can say. Okay, the first name cannot be further divided. Yes, your age, you cannot divide it further. So such attributes is known as a simple attribute. Next is a composite attribute. Now it is opposite to simple. Now if we say about address, yes, we are if you want to know the address, we will give that the particular house number is this, then road number is this, lane number is this. So the particular address is divided into further more different small values. So that particular attribute is a composite attribute. Like your birth date, it consists of date, month, year. Yes, we can further divide it. So such attribute is composite attribute. Next comes your derived attribute. Now the name itself says that the attribute is derived from some another attribute. Okay, so such attributes are known as derived attribute. Yes, they does not exist in a physical database, but their values can be derived from another attribute. For example, you have birth date, like the birth date is 10/10/2020. Then you can easily identify the age of a particular student. Yes, so age is not an attribute which is there, but we can calculate its value from the birth date attribute which physically exists. So such attribute is known as a derived attribute. Next comes a single value attribute. Now the name itself says the attribute which will contain only a single value, like your age of the student, age of any person. It is single valued, so that particular attribute is known as single value attribute. Next comes multi-value attribute. Now see, many students, now you have a personal email address, you have college email address. Now email address is one, but multiple values are connected to it. A particular single student can have multiple email address. A single student can have multiple mobile phone numbers. Yes, you have dual SIM. You can insert 2 SIM. So 2 numbers will be there, which is allotted to single student. So such attributes are known as multi-value attribute, which contains more than one value for a single particular attribute. Next comes a stored attribute, an attribute that cannot be derived from another attribute. Like age can be derived from birth date, but we cannot derive the birth date from age. Yes, the age of the student is 20, but birth date can be anything. Yes, his birth year is 2000, suppose it is 2000, but from 12 months, you cannot derive the exact birth date of the student from his age. So those attributes are stored attribute. Next comes null value attribute. Null value means the value is there is no value, it is empty. Yes, those attributes are null value. For example, there are 70 students in your class, and there may be some students, those who are not using mobile phone. For such students, if there is an attribute which belongs to student entity, then what value he will insert? He will insert null value, as he is not having phone. So such attributes is null valued attribute. Next comes a key attribute, an attribute that has a unique value. Now unique means it will not be repeated. For example, roll numbers allotted to the students. 10 roll number cannot be allotted to 2 students. It should be unique to each student. So like you can say your Aadhaar number, for each person all over the India, your Aadhaar number is unique. So such attribute is known as a key attribute. You can use such attributes you can define a constraint like primary key to such attributes, because for primary key there are 2 conditions: the value should be unique and it should not be null. Roll number cannot be null, and also it is unique. So such attribute you can consider as a primary key. Okay. Next comes relationship. Yes, we have studied about entities, then properties of entities, that is attribute. Now how you will connect 2 or more entities, that is using relationship. So association among the entities is known as a relationship. For example, you have an entity employee and department. So works at, this can be the relationship which will connect 2 attributes or 2 entities. A student enroll in a course. So student and course are 2 entities, and the connection is enrolls. So here works at and enrolls are the relationship which are going to connect the entities. Now how you will map those entities? Okay, so there are mapping cardinalities. Cardinality is nothing but the number of entities, we can say the number of entities in one particular set which are associated with the number of entities in another set. Okay, so there are different types of cardinalities. 1-to-1 means a single set. Okay, a single entity from a set is associated with only single entity in set B. Okay, yes, the example is given. One person is having only one Aadhaar card number. Okay, one student can have only one roll number or one KBT ID. So those you can map it using 1-to-1 cardinality. Okay, one person among the set, one entity is associated with only one entity in another set. Then there is one-to-many. Now one-to-many means if you are using a website like Amazon, Flipkart, yes, at a time you can buy more than one product. So one person can buy more than one product at a single time. So one entity in one set is associated with more than one entity in another set. That is one-to-many relationship. Okay, then many-to-one. Now here there may be many students, okay, which are studying in single college. Like we have 60 students which are studying in computer department. So many students are associated with one entity, that is computer department. So that is many-to-one cardinality. And next, last one is many-to-many. Now here many students, See, 60 students are learning 5 subjects. So there is many-to-many cardinality. So many entities in one set is associated with more than one entity in another set. That is many-to-many cardinality. Okay. So how to represent an ER diagram? See, we have already studied entity is represented by a rectangle. Attributes are represented by ellipse shape. Next, composite attribute. Composite means, yes, the name is a composite attributes which is further divided into first name and last name. Okay. It is, so here you can represent composite attribute like this. So next comes your multi-value attributes. Attribute having more than one value, so it is represented as a double ellipse. So phone number is multi-value attribute. Next is derived attribute, an attribute which is derived from another attribute. Okay, so here a birth date is an attribute from which we are deriving an attribute age. So age is not physically present. Okay, it is derived one, so it is represented by a dotted ellipse. Next comes a binary relationship and cardinality. Okay, see here, if you have one-to-one cardinality, then you can represent it in a ER diagram using first method, like one entity, and here you will represent a number 1. It is associated with only one entity in another set. So between the entities we have relationship. So here it is marked as one-to-one. Okay. Next, if you have one-to-many, so many is represented by character n, or you can use m character. Okay, so character doesn't matter, but if it is one-to-many relationship, then it is represented by 1 to n. So from which there is entity 1, only one is selected from the set. So above that entity you will write down 1, and from another set we are selecting many of the entities. So before that entity you will represent n character. So this is how you can represent one-to-many relationship using cardinality. Yes. Next one is many-to-one. See here, when more than one instance of one entity. Now here from set 1, okay, many entities are related to only one entity in another set. Just like we have seen the example, there are many students in KBT COE which studied under one college, that is KBT COE. So student and college. So many students are related to one entity, that is KBT COE. So this is how you will represent many-to-one. And then the last one is many-to-many. Now here you will represent many-to-many by end-to-end relationship. So here if we talk about a single department, then we can say that T computer students studied total 5 subjects. So T computer students are many, subjects are also many, it is more than one. So here you can represent students and studied under T computer. So there is a many-to-many relationship. So this is how you will represent the cardinalities. Okay. So in this video we have studied how to represent, how to create your ER diagram. Yes, how to show the entities, if how to represent strong as well as weak entity. Yes, we have seen what are the different types of attribute and how it is represented. Like strong attributes which is derived one, it is represented by dash dotted ellipse, the derived attribute. Then if it is multi-value, then it is double ellipse. Okay, in this way you can create your own ER diagram. So references for this video I have taken from our 2 books, like Database System by Korth and the Database System from Connolly and Begauthur. Thank you.